Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Catch Up After College podcast. We're catching up after college on the lessons of life lived by leaders. We're a safe space grounded in grace, and our aim's always to aid. We may be post-graduation, but we're never post-education. I'm Isaiah Brown, your host, and thank you for tuning in today. Today, we have my broseph, Joseph, here with us. What's happening, man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? It's such an honor to be on here today. I love what you're doing, and I really look up to your leadership, and I'm happy to see you use your gifting in this awesome way.
Oh, thanks, man. We could just end it there. That was pretty cool in itself.
That was perfect.
No. You're a
And I feel like
podcast
I've
host
seen
too.
you for a few years. Yeah, I've seen you for a few years now, just constantly growing, and I'm super proud of you, man.
Thanks, man. We know each other 4 years now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. How old were you then? You're like 24?
So I'm 29 right now, so I was like 25, 26.
Dang, man. You're still a baby back then. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm still a baby boy right now, man, aging don't raisin.
Oh, okay. If you say so. All right. Cool. Awesome, man. So you're a podcast host too. How does it feel to be a guest on another podcast instead of hosting it?
I think sometimes I was on another podcast before, actually. I was like a guest, and I feel like it kind of comes really naturally. I think sometimes if you're telling your own stories, or you're telling, talking about what's going on in your own life, it can be kind of confronting. You might have like a self-doubt and negative self-talk about the message that you have, but I find like when we have conversations, it's super just authentic and super real. And I think uh, I'm believing that we'll have just a really great conversation today, and hopefully help people out, and even cover stuff about ourselves in the process.
Awesome, man. You're really motivational. You know that, man?
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
All
Trying to be
right.
like you.
Oh, right. So you're a personal trainer, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. And kind of brought up that motivational point because uh, I'm going to make some excuses right now, just as a little game, and you're going to try to motivate me out of them. Does that sound good to you?
Is this the icebreaker? Let's do
Yeah,
it.
a little something right there. Yeah. Oh, unless you're on the clock right now. I don't know if I could afford you, but yeah.
No, come on, baby. Let's do it.
All right, cool. Oh man, Joseph, I don't feel good enough today. What do I do?
Hey, man, you got to just rest.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna say you're gonna just take one small step in the right direction. All right. Maybe you're not gonna be doing a full workout today, but you can do some squats. You can do a few push-ups. And I think if you're just taking one small step today, it's gonna help you build the momentum to continue that workout going, or have more motivation tomorrow. So I think it's important that we create positive constraints, Isaiah. We don't have to say we're going to hit 5 workouts a week for an hour each day. I think we're going to start with really small stuff, so that when we're doing more, it's extra credit.
Awesome. Oh snap. That's good stuff already. Man, Joseph, I don't feel like I'm ever going to be as strong as you, bro. How did you get like that?
Hey, that's true, man. That's true.
Wow. All
I'm just
right.
playing. Hey, man, all it takes is consistency. It just takes hard work. I believe in the compound effect. So we just got to keep on staying consistent. It's not about I always tell people, it's not about, the pursuit of happiness. It's about the happiness of the pursuit.
Mm,
We got to really enjoy it. And it's not about you reaching your goals right away, but it's about you falling in love with the process. And I'm just hoping that with our workouts together, you're going to really enjoy it, and you're going to see the positives about it. How you feel better, how your body just feels stronger, even if you are not seeing the immediate results.
mm. Okay. Let's imagine I'm on a bench press right now. I can't do any more reps, Joseph. Pick it up for me.
Hey, bro, you got this. Come on. No, just kidding.
Uh, uh.
Um, I'd be like, hey, bro, I got you. We're going to go up. We're actually going to go a little bit lighter, because I want to make sure you're focused on your form. All right. So let's take a little bit of that weight off. Let's go do something that's controllable. And I'm all about slow, steady progress. All right, let's go. Control. You got this.
Nice, man. You're very experienced. These are good answers. But
Thank you, bro.
I got one more for you. Chelsea, I don't feel like working out today. Can we reschedule?
Hey, brother. You know what? It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I'll use your catchphrase. It's all good. Um, we'll work on a time that's better for you. All right. That's okay. If you need to rest today, I'm gonna let you do that because I care more about you as a person, not necessarily just your fitness goals. If you need to take a second to recover, that's totally okay. You can go on a walk. You can do some yoga, whatever it is that you need. I'm here for it.
Awesome, man. Killed it, bro.
Still getting charged though. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Rejected. Nah. I'll Venmo you later. Yeah. Cool, man. So we're talking about this before. Do you mind saying again where you're from, and do you mind describing what your life was like before you went to college?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Joseph Ilustrisimo. Instagram is @_Joseph.Gabriel, my middle name _ again. Um, I was raised in Sacramento, and so I moved there when I was in second grade, and I went to this Catholic school called Jesuit High School. Shout out to the Jesuians. It was an all-guys school, and in that time before college, I was very apathetic. I kind of didn't really care about a lot of things. I was atheist at that point as well, and I was trying to find my way. I was trying to find my groups and the people that I wanted to spend time with, and unfortunately, in high school, I don't really feel like I ever found that. So it was just like this process, just trying to find my way, trying to figure things out on my own.
Yeah. Were you an athlete then?
Yeah, I played a few sports. I freshman year I ran track and cross country. Sophomore year I did that as well, and then I quit in going into my junior year because I wanted to lift weights. I was like a super scrawny kid. I was 115 pounds freshman year, 125 sophomore year, then I was 175 junior year. So
Dang, dude.
I gained like 50 pounds in like 1 year. It wasn't all muscle. It was a lot of Chipotle in and out. Um, but yeah, I quit playing sports just to kind of pursue fitness. And it was a super interesting story because I don't know if you mind getting, if I go a little deeper right now.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, so like if I apply to different fitness places, if it's to be like a live coach or whatever, we have to have like our story and understand where fitness played a huge role in our lives. And for me, I started working out when I was 16, and that's because I felt like I was so insecure that I started lifting weights in order to gain muscle, of course, and to find more security in myself as a person. But in actuality, when I look back on it, I actually found safety because I was at a time where I was 16 years old, but my mom passed away before my 16th birthday. And that was like, I started hitting the gym, and I started doing it really hard. I was there every single day and just really devoted my life to that. And one thing that I realized is that progress is positivity. So when I was seeing results in the gym, when I was making those gains, I was seeing changes, I was getting stronger. It was something that was so positive in my life that I really needed in that moment, because that was the hardest thing a lot of teenagers could ever go through, is like losing someone who's very close to them. And I was really close to my mom, and it was a great way for me to bring some positivity into my life. So I really learned that progress is positivity, and I believe that fitness truly saved me from a lot of different things.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, man. I love how you're always so open to. And I gotta ask, who were your mentors in that season? Because when most of us show up to the gym, we have no idea what we're doing. Was there anyone
Mm.
there guiding you?
Yeah, there was. I did work out a little bit with my brother, but not too much. I actually like made some friends with like guys that were a lot older than me. I was like 18 or no, I was like 16 or 17 at the time, and I would just like talk to people. I would just see people who are like super jacked, and I was like, oh, I want to be like this person. So I would start like asking them questions, and I was there every single day at the same time. So I was there 5 days a week. And I started talking to these like massive like Samoan, like Filipino dudes. I don't even remember their names. It was so long ago, but they kind of took me in, showed me a lot of different things, and like they invited me to play like mahjong and stuff. And it was crazy because I was like 16 years old. They were like in their 30s at the time, but I just like asked them a bunch of questions and learned a lot. They saw that I was driven, saw that I was motivated, and I got a trainer at that point too, because I actually knew from a really young age that I wanted to be a personal trainer. So I got like a trainer as well and got to learn from him. His name was Mike, and yeah, I just grew a lot in that aspect of my life and really got addicted to like working out and fitness and stuff.
Yeah, awesome. And you're a personal trainer now, but what did you want to be when you were little?
Uh, that's tough. I mean, it's funny because if you were to talk to my grandma, I was raised super Catholic, but she'd be like, "Joey, my grandson, he wants to be a priest." That she would always tell everybody that I was like with, or she would tell like different priests that I wanted to be a priest when I was younger. So if I were to honor her, she passed away as well. If I were to honor her, I would say I used to want to be a priest.
Mm. Is that true though? Or
It is, yeah. I think
oh,
I've always like. I mean, I had this. There's like nuns, in the Catholic Church. So I was like really close to this Sister Carlin, her name is, and I was like her favorite at this school. So like one time, I went to Catholic school my whole life until college, actually. So my first elementary school, Sister Carlin was over there, and I always hear stories about how in like Asian culture you have to take off your shoes in order to like go inside the house. So Sister Carlin was there at my house one time because she was close with my family, and I was like, "Oh, Sister Carlin, can you take off your shoes so we can go play upstairs?" So I was this huge like suck up and really like loved um like authority and like the people who were there. Like Sister Carlin was one of my favorites, as well as some of the priests. So I actually like was pretty into that lifestyle when I was like 6, 7.
nice, man. And you said you went to Catholic school all the way up, all the way up to college?
Yeah, for sure. So I went to Catholic school all the way up to college. Yep. So I was K through eighth. I went to small Catholic schools. There's like 30 people in a class. And then my high school was an all boys elementary school. Had like 250 kids per class. And it's funny because I talked to my friend Chris, who's like, he also went to Catholic high school too. And one of the first things that he talked to me about, he's like, dude, what was your detention called? And then I was like, bro, of course, Jug. And then he was like, dude, mine too. And what Jug means is justice under God.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
just funny because it's like, yeah, it's such a different mindset from like this grace belief that, I believe you share with me, and a lot of us as well believe in like grace. And it's funny that like in high school, that's what they called detention, was justice under God. Like we're getting kind of like
Hey,
a beat down with it right there.
sounds intense, but it's a crazy acronym.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny looking back on it.
Cool. And going back to the subject of college, did you experience culture shock going there with such a difference to your previous education?
Yeah, I was like, oh, girls are in our classes over here.
Hey,
Yeah. You know what? If I were to say a few things about my college experience compared to high school, it was that like my college was actually a lot easier. I don't know how it is for everyone else, but my college was a lot easier than my college preparatory high school. So I ended up slacking off like a lot. And it was just interesting just having so much freedom. Like with college, you would have some days where you have like one class, or you'll have like 4 hours of school and you get tired. Kind of like makes me wonder how we did that in high school, where we would go there for like 8 hours in a day. It's pretty wild. um but yeah, I think my high school experience was really fun. College was just this time where I was just trying to, I guess I spent a lot of time in my freshman year just trying to be cool, going to like parties and stuff, and trying to find my crew and group and everything. And yeah, just growth.
Yeah. And why did you choose college when you're already on the path of like sort of being a personal trainer, or were you on that path at the moment?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to. So you actually don't need a college degree in order to become a personal trainer, which is why it's like such a varied level for people. Um, went to college and I first started studying biology, and then after that, I actually started studying kinesiology. And I was working in these random jobs in college. I forget what my first one was. I think my first one was like working at this place called Squat and Gobble. It was like this restaurant in West Portal, and I didn't really want to work so that much, so I worked like a day a week, and I actually got fired from that job. And
Whoa.
it wasn't. I don't think it was from my performance or anything. I think they're just like, we don't need this guy like working one day per week. So it was super. It's my first time getting fired.
Hmm.
So I was just like, wow, this sucks. But then I realized that like being a personal trainer was always my dream, and I had the test booklet, I had the book. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna freaking put my head down and do this. So I used that, me losing my job, as an opportunity to really live out my dream. And I started working as a personal trainer when I was 20 years old, and continued studying kinesiology, which was a really cool experience, and it was great. I trained like a lot of sessions. I could train like 30 sessions a week, while I was still in school, which really helped me pay for things too.
What is kinesiology?
Yeah, so kinesiology is like movement science. It's I guess like physiology and all that kind of stuff, which is like understanding how the body works. And a lot of people go into kinesiology to later go into being a physical therapist, someone who studies biomechanics, or um, what is it, like OT, occupational therapy, athletic training. So there's definitely a lot of routes for that. It's just not one of those things where it's like, oh, you study kinesiology, here's this awesome job right away. It's like you figure it
Hmm.
out. You have to like use it as a degree to get like a master's or something.
Yeah. And once you entered college, were you wishing that what were you wishing that you had learned in high school while entering college, like to be better prepared for that season?
Hmm. Um, I wish I learned how to learn. I wish I learned to be passionate about learning more and education. I think I was all throughout high school and all throughout college, I was just doing enough to get by. And I had like a brother who was super smart, got all these great grades, and went to this private school. I was just kind of coasting. I was like, all right, C's get degrees. In high school, I wasn't super focused. And actually, in college, kind of closer to my senior year, I finally found a professor that made me enjoy learning. And I was like, whoa, school is like awesome. So he really changed my life in that way, where his name was Professor Boyd. And he just made it so fun. He gave all these acronyms during class. He had us all participate in the courses as well. So we're doing like popcorn and stuff, even though it's like a college course where we're just like one person reads and one person reads and one person reads. And even at the end of that year, I was just like, man, I gave him my final, and I was like, "You're my Boyd," because his last name was Boyd. So I was like, "Dude, you're my Boyd."
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I just had really great professors, and towards the end of my college career, but I just truly wish that I I learned how to learn in high school, if that's like reading the books that I wanted to read and learning the importance of wanting that education, wanting that growth, I think it would have been a whole different experience for me.
Yeah. And would you say you had a diverse experience in college in the sense that you're exposed to, different cultures, people, and mindsets that you weren't used to?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because I was in Sacramento, and in certain parts of Sacramento can be very like white suburban, especially like in Catholic schools and stuff. So I grew up feeling like I was a minority, for sure. I remember even like being in certain places, like being in a strip mall or being at like Chipotle or something, and people would be like looking at me as an Asian person, like these girls be like, oh, this guy's Asian, I don't want to talk to him. And then it was just like this weird experience just growing up in Sacramento where some parts were very almost like racist. I remember I experienced my first little bit of racism when I was in second grade in in my Catholic school. Someone wrote a song about the two Asian kids in the class, so me and one other person, and wrote a song about how Asians stink and Asians smell. And yeah, it was like a humiliating experience. That was what I went through in second grade, and that was just kind of my vibe that I was getting from it, Sacramento.
Wow.
Um, yeah, weird. But in San Francisco, very diverse and very like I felt like such a majority. It was really great. It was very welcoming and it allowed me to be myself a little bit more.
Yeah. That was actually going to be my next question. Like, have you ever had to face discrimination of any form? But would you say that was mostly in the early years of your life, or do you still experience it a bit today?
Yeah, I would definitely say that is in the earlier years of my life for sure. I think definitely experienced like that type of racism earlier, but I know I do feel uncomfortable in certain places. So if I'm in like this like Orlando even, Orlando, Florida, where it can be very like conservative or um just a whole nother vibe. I can feel a little weird, or if I'm driving through um yeah, if I remember I went to like Davenport or something, just driving along the coast with one of my ex-girlfriends and just she went into this like little bar on the side of the street just to grab a coffee, and I didn't want to go in there because I just saw that like everyone was like white and I felt like it would make me feel uncomfortable, but it might be just because of stuff that I've gone through in my past um, that gets me a little weird feeling.
Oh, it's real. Was that, if I can ask, was your girlfriend of color or?
She was Caucasian.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a hard conversation to have. Did you have those kind of conversations before?
um yeah, I definitely let her know. I was like, yeah, it would just make me feel weird. I decided I didn't want to go in there. Talking about like racism too. I felt, yeah, actually that's a good point. I went with her to Rhode Island. Her family is so nice. So her family is amazing. Everyone like welcomed me in. But Rhode Island is a very like white area, white suburban, like Italian mafia, stuff like that. I remember we went to this lighthouse actually, and we were just taking photos, and there was a gate that said it's National Guard only. But there were other people who were parked in there. So it was like this lighthouse, there was a gate that said National Guard only. We drove through the gate and then we parked there, there was a lot of other cars out there. Um, we're taking photos, we're hanging out, and as soon as we're walking back, and we get to the car, and I like open the door for my girlfriend at the time, and I'm waiting to get inside, and then like this guy starts yelling at us, and he starts yelling at us. He's like, "This is National Guard only." He starts like he's screaming at us like angry and hostile. I'm like, "Yo, what the heck?" Like, and there was so many spots open in the parking lot. There was like 4 or 5 cars there, and it was like a full parking lot space. But this guy chose to like yell at us. And I think there were other people who were going there just to take photos or whatever, just to hang out. But I was like, I really felt in that moment that that was like a racist man who was just upset that I was there. And I felt super uncomfortable. And, we went to a restaurant after, and, everyone happened to be all white in there as well. And I was just like, yeah, I just definitely don't want to be like living in a place like this. I just can't see that. It doesn't make me feel comfortable.
Yeah. Thanks again for sharing that. That's been something we've really been talking about, especially for this season, the podcast, talking about diversity and racism and all the crazy stuff that's happened. What's
Mm.
do you believe is the proper response to being treated in a racist fashion?
I think you can only control what you can control. I think the greatest response is empathy. I just wonder if that person was racist towards me. I feel like it's coming from a place of insecurity about himself, or insecurity about, the opportunities that he believes that he has. Um, and maybe he believes that people of color are getting jobs that he should be having or something, even if they work harder than him. I think just believing, just going from a place of like trying to understand, and in a way validating that he feels that way, or they feel like that for a reason, that they're maybe threatened or something, then I feel that can kind of help us be more equipped to respond with love, and be like, oh, I'm sorry that this person feels this way. I'm not going to let that bother me, because there's a reason why they are feeling that way.
Yeah.
Um, but I know as a brown person, I'm Filipino American, I know it's nowhere near what, our Black community experiences. Um, so I can't even imagine what that might be like.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You got your day-to-day stuff and then you got your one-off stuff. But just speaking to the audience, I know it seems like we're not really talking about college right now, but point of this podcast is to talk about life after college. And
Mm,
you know racism is actually something that people experience, uh,
yeah.
usually after their teenage years, mostly because when I
Hmm.
was younger I didn't see it as much. Maybe I was just naive to it, but it's a real thing that people are out there experiencing. So I believe it's important to talk about it. But I don't want to compare experiences though, because there's always someone out there who's got it worse than me. Even
Yeah.
me as a black man, I haven't seen like terrible stuff. But
Mm,
uh, the point is, I guess, to point out that it's wrong and that we need to do something about it, which is
yeah.
awesome. I'm glad that you brought up. But yeah, I guess going back to the questions, there's no way to completely transition out of that nicely. But can you recall a season of having to learn like new skills or adapt to your environment to survive? Like a big
Um,
season of growing up that you had to experience?
yeah, for sure. I mean, right now, for sure, is something that I'm having to grow up in. I think a lot of us can relate to being drastically affected by coronavirus, the pandemic, and I've had to really spend a lot of time thinking about what I want, and really actually reshaping my business a lot as well. So I'm a personal trainer, mostly, but I was training at this gym called Theocati, and I was like family there. It's this awesome place. I truly believe. You asked me about mentors in high school, but I believe one of my best mentors that I've had was at that gym in my life. Best mentor I've had in my life. His name was Billy Paulson, and I always speak so highly of him because I truly believe that he changed my life where, you know, he really believed in me. He believed in me a lot. And a lot of times all you need is like one person to truly believe in you to help you reach new heights, and to, I talk about it as like a new level, you know, you reach your new levels. Um, so with fitness, like I was like always kind of doing well, but not like as much as like as well as like I'd want to be doing, you know. There was many times where I felt like quitting, and I was like, oh dude, I don't know if I can do this. Let me try being like a firefighter, let me try being like a nurse or something, you know. And just thinking about, you know, all these conversations that my dad has had with me, and his family as well, being like, oh, you should try this career or something, you know, you should do this. And it really, they're not trying to do that in a way that makes you not believe in yourself, but it almost makes you feel like they don't believe in your own success, you know. So I never felt like someone was championing me to like, oh, go out, do this, you know, live this life in fitness and give it your best shot. You know, they're always like, this is your backup plan, or this is what you enjoy, this is what you love. um, and if it doesn't work out, try out this other career, which could be your plan A. But then when I met Billy, I did this internship with him, and I was like, I was giving him all these different like plan Bs and stuff. And he was just like, where's all this coming from? One day he just stopped me. He said, where's all this coming from? And he just said, you know, you have to like get rid of like what your dad tells you, or, you know, what any of your other family tells you. Like you have to believe in yourself. And he said, like, you have this glow about you. You can do this. You know, if anyone can do this, you can do this. So he truly believed in me, and I was able to train. Like, I did the internship, and then the year after that internship, I was able to reach top 5 in production at the Acadi, like top 5 session service. And that gym, top 5, it sounds like pretty decent or whatever, but there's like 100 trainers in that gym, where I was ranked, you know, best personal training gym for 14 years in a row. And like I was able to train like the 5th most in the top 5 for session service after like 1 year, you know. And then after coronavirus hit, it was like this whole new ball game where, you know, I ended up losing like 80% of my business, and I only was training like a few people per day. And I was like, holy crap, you know. You come from a place of security where you're like, all right, this is all I need, you know. And then it forces you to really think about what else you need to do. And it actually forced me a lot to take bets on myself as well. Um, so I ended up doing like this business course with this guy named Rob Dial, something that was a lot of money for me, and it still is a lot of money for me, but it helped me identify, you know, what's the business that I wanted to create. And I ended up shifting my business from just personal training focus to more about like focusing on mindset and focusing on movement, because I believe that what is so much stronger, what's going to help you get to your goals better is not just physically getting stronger, but more so the mind understanding that it can, you know. So just learning more about psychology and the mindset, I believe, has helped me and my clients so much more than anything I've ever done for them in fitness. So I really had to learn how to adapt and change my business. I had to learn how to like prospect and meet people on Instagram, and, you know, take sacrifices to market myself, to be more vocal. I don't know if you saw, like, I was forced to be more vocal on Instagram with different content and being really vulnerable. And it was really hard at first. You know, I would have to walk around for like an hour praying, reading the Bible, like reading Psalms before I can freaking I'm cuss, before I can freaking post a 5-minute video on Instagram. You know, I was so scared. But now I have my own podcast as well, and, you know, it's because I started believing in myself and changed my mindset. I was forced to shift and grow.
Dang, that's a perfect example of the question for sure. But I love that you're just bringing up mentors in your life, especially in this crazy season. I personally have been curious about how things look like for personal trainers in the COVID season. But what are 2 traits you look for in a good mentor?
That's a great question. I think you want to find a mentor that cares is the first thing. Simon Sinek has a book called Why Leaders Eat Last. And, what he talks about is like, helping, it's about like leaders and CEOs and stuff. So he talks about helping your people feel safe, and I think that's very crucial, that when you're investing in a mentor or someone who can build you up, you want to make sure that they actually truly care about you and you're not just another number to them. Yeah, so that's a huge thing that I want to look for is, someone who's going to really care about you. And another thing that I would look for is, I guess, someone who will challenge you, someone who's going to challenge you, help you grow. There's this guy whose podcast I really like. His name is Rob Dial. His podcast is called The Mindset Mentor. And in his course, I purchased his business course, where he talks about is like when you're inside of a jar, you can't see what's on the outside from the inside. You can't see what's on the label from the inside. You can't really see what's going on at all. You have to look at an outside perspective, which is why he recommends journaling and like thinking about what's going on in your life, taking this outside perspective. But if you have a coach or mentor who's able to see that outside perspective already and challenge you to move forward, I think that's definitely something I would look for, because I don't want to waste time in life. I want to be able to take everything that I believe God has for me, and I believe that's going to happen through challenges. And I believe that God challenges us as well I believe a lot of times, like even in this season in coronavirus and this epidemic or the pandemic, I believe that God's truly challenging us to help us be better and help us grow as well.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing, man. So a good mentor will care for you and challenge you. And that's crazy that you put the perspective on, like, imagine God's stance, caring for you and challenging you. Wow, that's just mind-blowing right there. But so what has been the biggest roadblock or hurdle you've had to face since graduating college?
I think the biggest roadblock that I believe a lot of us can actually experience is, the mindset. I believe our mindset can truly shift us in a positive direction, but it can also limit us too. So there's this really great book called, I want to say it's like the Big Leap. It's called The Big Leap. I think the author's name is Gay Hendricks. But what he talks about is how everyone has an upper limit. All right, everyone has an upper limit, and it's actually pretty fascinating because the way I see it, it's very similar to, your weight. I work in fitness, so like when we talk about people's weight, it's actually like a thermostat, right? So everyone has like a body fat or a set weight, which where their body likes to be at. So for me, I'm a super skinny guy. I'm like 5'10", but my set weight is usually at 165. So I can lift as much as I want to, and I can go through a season where I'm like bulking or whatever, just trying to gain weight, and I can get to like 175 or something. But if I don't keep on eating like crazy amounts of food, my body's going to get to 165. If I stop working out and I'm not able to, and I stop working out, I'm just not into it for this season, but then I start working out again, then my body's going to want to get back to, 165 again, because it's a set weight that we have, which is why people lose weight a lot and then they'll get back to the weight that they were at. But the same thing goes with almost every other aspect of our life, because when you think about your money, how much money you believe that you deserve, you are going to want to gravitate towards that. If you start making a little bit more than that, you see more in your bank account, you're going to start splurging and be like, oh shoot, let me get these freaking Jordans. Let me go on this trip. Let me get these jeans. Let me buy this t-shirt. And you'll go back to like what you believe that you deserve. And some people don't really believe they deserve much. That's why when someone's growing up in like a lower socioeconomic status, yes, they can be challenged by not having the right resources, and having to work a lot harder. But I also believe that they don't believe that they deserve as much. So what it comes down to actually is helping them get mentored to the place where they believe in themselves enough, that they believe in their success, and they know that they should be at a certain level, and just keep on raising that new level, which is why what I was talking about earlier is like when we get challenged. I actually had a podcast that was released on the game of life, and I talked about how we could learn so much from video games. One of the things that I had learned is that you never level down. You never level down in life. So we can get challenged, right? We can get challenged where, we feel like we're losing money. We feel like we're losing our job, if we lost our job or whatever it is. But then you're still growing. You're still becoming a better person. So your level is still increasing, and what I believe everyone after college, and what I have really worked on myself, and I'm still working on myself constantly, is trying to find my new level, trying to find out what do I deserve and how can I believe that I deserve more? How can I match that, because that's how you're going to make more money. That's how you're going to get more experience. That's how you're going to get great opportunities, when you really believe that you're worth it.
We were talking about earlier, we're joking around about having you motivate me, and I make up some fake excuses. But how do you personally stay motivated every day?
Oh man, that's great. I journal every single day. And I think it comes down to, like, finding out your habits, right? I think habits are so powerful because they're automatic. It's you see people like Steve Jobs, he was wearing like his outfit was always like that black turtleneck or whatever. It's like people talk about that, how you want to limit the choices that you have to make per day, right? Because there's something called decision fatigue. Um, so as a trainer, I'd have to make sure I program for my clients for like 4 weeks out, or like a month or more, because when I see my clients, I don't want to make up a workout on the spot, because I'm going to get decision fatigue where I'm like, holy crap, like this is so much work on my mental space. I want to have the workout prepared and know exactly what I'm doing, right? So I was reading this book and I just finished it. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And one of the things that he talked about was bookending your days. What that means is controlling the beginning and controlling the ends. So in the mornings, I try and journal a little bit. My morning routine is like I listen to a podcast that's motivating. It's called The Quote of the Day Show. And then after that, I'll like listen to like some worship music, and I'll be stretching, I'll be moving, and then I'll go into like my journal and just like start asking myself questions about the day, asking myself questions to find purpose in what I do. You know, talking to a friend of mine this past weekend, and what I was telling him is that the motivation's only going to come for you when you find purpose in it. Because someone can tell me, he's a kinesiologist and he loves like biomechanics. So I was like, someone can tell you, all right, learn how to software develop. I'm going to pay you $150,000 if you learn how to do that. And I told him, you're not going to want to do that at all because you don't see the purpose in it, even though it's a lot of money. And I said, if someone told you, hey, I want you to create this biomechanics app and we're going to just sell it and distribute it, and I'm going to teach I want you to learn how to code in order to create it. Since he has a passion for that and he sees the purpose behind it, that he's helping people through biomechanics, then he's going to find it so much more motivating to him because he has a purpose behind it. So one of the greatest drills that I learned in order to find motivation, to find drive, is to have a journal. And I tell my clients this all the time. I don't write in it like, dear diary, I had a great day yesterday or whatever. I say like, I start asking myself different questions, and then going 7 layers deep is the drill, where you go 7 layers deep into these questions. All right. What that means is that you go, you keep asking yourself questions until you get 7 layers into it. So, all right, Isaiah, why do you want to start this podcast? Okay, like I want to help people and show like leaders, learn from these leaders and how we can help other people out. Okay, well, who are you trying to help? All right, this is my audience, da 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 da. Why do you want to do that? Oh, I really want to help people because I had mentors in my life, or maybe I had a lack of mentors and I want to be able to be a mentor for other people. All right, well, when do you think this will be helpful? Oh, right away. I want to do this as soon as possible. And you keep on asking yourself these questions until it becomes a part of you. And I want to ask myself questions enough that my goals are no longer I want to do this, but I need to do this. So we have to just keep asking ourselves these questions until they become a part of us. And our goals go from I want to I need to, and believing that you can change the world, even if that's one person at a time.
Wow, that's great, man. What has been the biggest surprise of adulthood so far that you've experienced?
That's a great question. Um, yeah, I think the biggest surprise of adulthood is it's just a freaking long journey. It's just this long marathon. Like you never finish, and I don't think you ever will finish. I hope I won't be finished even on my deathbed, like I hope I continue to learn and continue to grow. There's just so much out there. And, even when you think about a year, one of my favorite quotes about a year that I've ever heard is that a year is not one long marathon. It's 52 short sprints. There's just always more to uncover in this life. There's always more to uncover every single day. There's always more to uncover every single week. It's just this thing where like, yeah, I have my goals right now. Like I love what I do in fitness. I love what I do with helping people as a holistic lifestyle coach, but I don't know what the future is. I could have I can have a different purpose in different seasons. I was talking to one of my clients earlier today and he was like, hey, do you believe in this concept of the one? And, I read this book. I think it was Brene Brown who said this, is that she believes that there's not just one soulmate, but there's many soulmates. There's soulmates for every season of your life. Not to say that you should be in a relationship in every different season, but like there could be, for some people, there can be like that person who was your soulmate for a reason in that moment. All my other relationships, like, yeah, I can see them as having a specific purpose and a specific reason why that person was with me and why I was with them. And not to say like, oh, I had to get married to that person and it was a failure. I don't think it was a failure. I think it was just a part of life and a part of this process that is never ending.
Cool, man. We're going to start to wind it down, but what are 2 tips you can give to searching for your dream job?
Searching for your dream job, I think it comes down to many different things. I think it comes down to, there's something, I don't want to get this wrong, but there's something called ikigai. All right, ikigai. It's a Japanese concept, and it's a reason for being. If you don't mind, do you mind if I look it up real quick?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so ikigai, it's basically 4 different, it's like a Venn diagram where it's like, you think about what you love, you think about what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. And you start asking yourself, you ask yourself that question. All right, what do you love? You start listing off a bunch of things that you love. All right. And then you ask yourself, what are you good at? You start listing off all the things that you're good at. What can you be paid for? You start listing off all the things that you can be paid for. What does the world need right now? And you start listing off all the things that the world needs. And then in this chart, it's a chart you can find online. It says that what you love and what you're good at together are your passion. What you are good at and what you can be paid for together are your profession. You find what are the interlapping things on your list. So if you have on your list, if what you can be paid for interlaps with what the world needs, that's your vocation. What you love and what the world needs, if things on that list interlap, then that's your mission. All those together, if you can find your passion, your profession, your vocation, your mission all together in one thing on that list, then that's your ikigai. That's your reason for being. So I believe that you have to just ask yourself, what are the gifts that God's given me? What do I truly enjoy? What am I skilled? What does the world need right now? And really continuing to dive deep into that. And I think that's going to help you find your purpose in your job. I think I'm a huge proponent of like passion and really loving what you do, right? So I remember I was listening to this podcast, and it was talking about he said that he believes everyone has a purpose in life. As Rob Dial, mindset mentor, he said, I believe everyone has a purpose in life. And what he said also was that when you ask people what their purpose is, it usually has to do with helping people, that's what a lot of people's purpose is. So like with you, you're helping people through your podcast, that's a big part of your purpose, right? But I think if someone doesn't know their purpose yet, I think they should just focus on being purposeful, meaning they should just focus on helping people now. And, maybe you'll find out what you truly want to do in life. So don't wait to know your purpose, but start just loving people now and start helping people now, because I believe that's going to help you get even just a little bit closer to finding that. When I teach a class and it's an amazing class, I'm like, dang, that's a good feeling. I have this feeling where I know that's exactly what I want to do. If I have a great conversation with my clients, and, sometimes I'll talk to my clients and not do any working out at all, but I'll just talk to them about their life and talk to them about their mindset, talk to them about how they view themselves. And I'll have like an hour-long session. I'll be like, that was a great session, even though we didn't do any movement at all. Because I know, like, when you live out your purpose, you're going to feel it. You're really going to feel it. And I believe that everything is spiritual. I believe that we're all spiritual beings, and there's a reason why we have the gifts that we have. There's a reason why we have the talents that we have, and there's a reason why things are on our hearts. So be purposeful with your actions.
Cool, man. Looking back on 2020, it's been a crazy year, but trying to look from things from the like a positive side. How do you personally want 2020 to be remembered when you look back on it?
Yeah, I want it to be remembered. Let me think about that. I want it to be remembered as a year of like introspection. Is it just for me or in general?
We'll say for you personally.
Yeah, for me, I want it to be remembered as the year where I truly started to figure out what I wanted to do in life, and I did my best to throw positivity out into the world. I think that's what it comes down to. When there's negativity that's just all around us, on top of this pandemic, on top of, like racism, systemic racism just getting thrown in our faces, I think this is the best time and the best moment for us to truly start using our gifts to make the world a better place. And, I really care about like Black Lives Matter. That's something that I want to continue fighting for. And one of the things that I realized is that I don't need to be at every single protest to be an ally. What it comes down to is I have to continue looking at my skill set and be like, yo, what am I skilled with that I can help and be a better ally? Because if I'm doing something that's not really my gifting, not really my fight, then I'm kind of just like just trying to do something just to do something, you know, but it was put on my heart to like create videos and to do photos for Black fitness professionals to empower their voices, you know, because I'm in the fitness world and I love photography, I love storytelling, I love videography, and to be able to uplift Black fitness professionals in my community is just a really great opportunity for me to love them and to throw some positivity out in the world. Even the first video I made, where I'm not the best videographer, you know, I'm not the best at creating stories, but it's something that I want to do because I believe these are the stories that are the most important in life right now, is, you know, the stories of our Black community. So I told my friend's story, Travion, and I was just so surprised that like so many people wrote comments. They're like, wow, this is so good. You know, like it was really cool to see, you know, Travion's story, and some people said like, I just needed something positive right now. Right. So I think no matter what is going on in our lives, I think we should always answer back with positivity. And that's not to say always be positive. You know, I don't want to be someone who's like always freaking super positive and like, yeah, let's go, life's awesome. You know, like that's not the way I live my life. I'm all about like feeling everything. But I do believe we should always have love, and love is what can combat any type of struggle that we go through. Love is what can combat any type of negative feeling that we are experiencing, any type of hate we've experienced. When someone loves us, it could fully change our lives.
That's awesome, man. And that leads me into something I just want to encourage you with. I believe that when people just see you personally, they hear your story, or just, you know, see you in person, they get encouraged and want to let you know people love you, but God loves you even more. So just keep doing the right thing, and, you know, God bless you, bro. Glad to have you on today.
I believe that, man. Thank you, brother.
Cool, man. Wish we had more time, but, you know, I had some prior engagements, you know, right after this. But yeah, thank you for your time. And is there anything you want to promote at the moment?
I mean, yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram at _Joseph.Gabriel _ again. Don't put the again part, just underscore, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be doing like a lot of photos, videos, Black fitness professionals, as well as, you know, my own work. I love fitness. I love mindset. So happy to follow you back and be friends on there. Hashtag follow for follow. I love y'all. Isaiah is killing it. This guy's the homie, and it's been exciting just being on here.
Cool, man. Want to tell us about your podcast real quick?
Yeah, for sure. So my business is called Holistic Hero, something that I changed during quarantine. I changed my business to Holistic Hero, and that's not to be anybody's hero. I don't want to be someone's hero at all. That's not my intention. Holistic can be defined as being wholesome, you know, being complete. But the hero aspect is, you just think about a protagonist in a story, and I love this definition. A hero is a protagonist in a story. And with me, what I needed to do is I needed to find a way to become the protagonist in my own story and stop living the life that people wanted me to live. So I want that for everybody else. I want people to be the hero in their own story. That's what Holistic Hero is all about. But the podcast is called Training Grounds, because that's where you can become your own hero. Training Grounds by Holistic Hero.
Awesome. Everybody out there, make sure to subscribe. If you heard this podcast today, you're probably thinking this guy's super motivating. That's all you got to do is subscribe to that podcast. And hey, maybe you want to get buff and you're in the Bay Area, you know, contact this dude. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks again for coming on, and, you know, have a good night. Wish we had more time for sure.
Hey, you too, brother. Thank you, man. Proud of you, brother.
It's all good. And for everybody else, have a good one. And as we're maturing, we're going to keep learning, stirring up, and chasing after what our Creator created us to do. So have a good one, everyone.